Welcome to the art project. This is a glue line and chalk pastel project for art classes. You're going to need for this assignment a pencil, some school glue, some tempera paint, some soft pastels, these are chalk pastels, piece of paper to draw on, and something to draw. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to mix some of this black tempera paint into the Elmer's glue. You'll probably want to do maybe half and half. Probably doesn't take very much tempera paint to do this. Once you get it mixed up, I shook it really good, then I mixed it up with a paintbrush. Once you have that done, you'll set it aside and get something out to draw. So I got this rose. This project I think looks really good with flowers, and it would probably do you good to examine some work by Georgia O'Keeffe in your class. Talk about Georgia O'Keeffe and look at how she made flowers really large and zoomed in on them. And the bigger you make the flower, the easier this is going to be, because the glue line is going to end up being really thick, and the space in between the glue line is not going to be big enough to color in if you don't draw the picture big. So I made it really large and tried to go off all four sides of the paper. Once I finished drawing it, I then took some glue, took the black glue that I made, and I went over all of the lines. It took me a few minutes to get good at doing these black lines, but don't worry about it too much. The black lines are really what kind of accentuate the whole flower and really set it off, so it's okay. Then once you have it done, you've got to let it dry for about 24 hours. What I did was I made two of these, and while the first one was drying, I started making another one. Then I went through, and the base color for my rose, of course, was red. So I went through and I did the entire flower red, and I used my finger to kind of push it into the paper and push it into the kind of crevices. I didn't try to cover up all the white, because the white against the black and the red is another just kind of happy accident, kind of a pretty part of this assignment. But I did take my finger and kind of rub the red into the paper. Now, with the rose, one of the good things about the rose is the depths of the rose is darker than the outside parts of the rose. And so in the depths of it, I used a little bit of blue to darken the red and create a violet. And so that's what I use the blue to create my shadow. It depends on what kind of flower you're doing and what kind of color scheme you want to go with, but that is individual to each person and something you might want to talk to your teacher about. But I used blue to make the shadows. And then after putting a little bit of blue down, I would use my finger to kind of blend it into the red and fade it out. The deeper into the rose that I went, the darker I made it, and I ended up putting a couple of different layers. I also went into the background with green, because of course what's behind the rose but more leaves. And so the green was kind of the choice color for the background. And then I used some blue in that green to make it darker up underneath and around the red of the flower, to make a darker green. And then after I got done with the background and examined my picture, I decided it needed the tips of the flower, the petals of the flower, to be a little bit lighter. And so I came back in with some white. I also tried to clean up my glue lines with sort of a wet paintbrush. Very carefully. I didn't want to wet the paper down. I just wanted to kind of wipe off the glue a little. Then I came back in with some white on the tips of the tulip, the tips of the rose, and it was all good. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful. Please don't forget to give me a thumbs up and watch more videos by The Art Project. Now it's your turn to go and make some art.